Yeah, we're back live and direct. Just waiting for the run-in from my man Sil right here as we do it live here, youtube.com/MROVW. Better not get a strike here from our man Ron Hawkins, Lowest of the Low. Check him out, one of my favorite bands, if it else. And don't stand too long in the spotlight, because you might find that you'll go blind, infidels. But we got plenty to talk about here. Break it down. Hopefully we've already broken it down enough for you. But it's Light the Fuse, hackerhamin.podbean.com, AEW Dynamite review. YOLO. Yes, sir. We're just waiting on my man Sil to come rushing in here and bring the good looks. But hopefully you guys had a good lunch break. If you're joining us here live, I see some all the usual suspects. Frank's Pickle Barrel asked first in the chat with Cujo and Al Robinson and nobody worth remembering right behind. So I appreciate you guys keeping it locked here on the Hamin Media group as we keep it going. I mean, I've got to talk to with Sil about it. You know, obviously it's AEW, and I'm sure he'll have some great creative ideas on how he would have done things to put a positive spin on a negative, because there's negatives, but I look at things in an improv mindset through that lens all the time. And we're taught that there are no mistakes, that everything is a gift. And even if it feels bad over here, what that happened there could come all the way full circle to pay off in a really grounded feeling of, okay, man, you know. But we'll see what Sil has to say. I'm sure I'll get a couple laughs out of him, but it's nothing for me to be angry about because I didn't produce it. I could be, should be, and would be. But yeah, there was even more atrocious, just shindy level stuff last night on Dynamite. We'll get to it, and something's got to be done, because you can't give yourself a pat on the back and keep stepping out with that kind of product. It's just not a good look all the way around. So see a couple others as the chat room fills up. Jared Cantator and the Canadian spaceman himself, Walrads, is in the house as well. So we had a good morning this morning. Strangler Steve and I doing the Friday locker room. Thankfully, Strangler was able to run in while Big Stevie Cool is down hanging and banging in Florida, catching some sunshine, well-deserved, well-earned. And what else last night? The Conspiracy Horseman was great with Joey Legend. It was good with Stevie Remote, too. It was funny to see him in a different spot. We're so used to seeing, I'm sure you guys with the wood paneling or what it used to look like before. Once in a while, I switch it up and move my desk around when I'm working out or doing my Stevie Richards yoga. So we had a lot of signups this week, actually, and new additions and Hamin Media Group members who are saying, you know what, I've seen Big Ray's journey. I've seen Hamin shake the way. I've seen how good Stevie looks, after a 25-year career. And there's something to this StevieRichardsFitness.com thing, and it's attainable at every level, whether you're coming back from an injury, whether you're just getting going and you've been, sedentary for a year. There's all levels to get things there. And then we also have the support group. So for an unbelievable price, you can get the PDF downloads, which takes you right to Stevie's movies, along with the bands, bro. Get the bands. Tell me about the bands, bro. Right off his website there, the Dynapro bands. And, that join us. We want to be inspired. You guys inspire me. I try and inspire others. The only time I can really get my mind clear is when I'm doing my workouts, because I really have to focus on movement and control, or if I'm doing my precision striking boxing for my cardio, that's my time to wipe away all the bullshit of the day. And I might give that same note to Kenny Omega, Eddie Kingston, and Moxley, dude. Just throw on your favorite music and do a workout where you have to focus on just that, and a lot of that depression that I'm sure they're feeling right now will go away. And I'm anxious to talk to Sil about, his experiences. And when you build a piece of art, here's the thing with live performance. And I was going to say this with Strangler, but the moment came and went. But I'm sure he's listening now. especially in improvisation, why improv works, and wrestling is different than improv, obviously, and far more physical. And, it should be somewhat improvised, but it's way too scripted right now. That's why we are where we are. But in improv, you're making an agreement with the audience. Yes, this is a live show. And yes, trust us, this is all made up. Now, what you do there is you take the safety net away. But then the audience becomes your safety net while you're walking the tightrope high wire up there going, oh shit, I don't know what's coming next. And every step could be, if my scene partner doesn't have my back or we make a wrong move, we're going to come crashing down. And I've been in shows like that. It happens. Not everything's a home run. Not every Master Shoot Theater is, insanely hilarious. Sometimes based in the moment. And if we overscript or we get too premise heavy, the organic moment isn't there. And wrestling needs a lot more of that, no doubt. But also with live performance, my point is, even if it was the exploding barbed wire match, they're a live performer out there. You got to keep going. You got to power through no matter what. And now they can do damage control later, because denying what happened, now your audience is like, they're acting to me. But if you lean into it and you play to it, and then it becomes something else, you control it. You know what I mean? So just because the pyro was a dud, that doesn't mean that can't lead to some bigger stakes of something else. So live performance is a different monster altogether, especially when it's partially improvised, a stunt show, and a pyro show. What could possibly go wrong now? In fact, it's pretty much a testament to a lot of these production guys that things don't go wrong a lot more. And Stevie talked about on Russo brand about McMahon testing pyro for the Dudley's entrance before the show and spent, probably boku bucks on doing test pyro at full fucking boom. And one of the rockets on those zip lines went right into the fuck where, the upper decks of Hamin's Tarp Emporium would be, right in there. And, take some kid's head off, that's a whole different PR nightmare. So is it worth blowing 60 grand worth of pyro earlier in the day to make sure everything's fucking where it should be? Absolutely. So that's the difference in being a big time pro and, having to do that shit at that level. Like, usually an indie would budget and be like, oh yeah, we've got this for that. And like, oh, you're going to run it 2 or 3 times to test it? No, we can't afford that. Well, now you're playing with the big boys. You know what I mean? So, but it's, that live performance is an agreement with the audience. And when it goes wrong, because it's on TV and people are conditioned to TV standards, we hold a different standard. Not hold a different standard. We want everything to go well. But, dude, that's going to haunt those guys for a while. Great points, Ben. Do you think it's a deeper problem, like they don't feel secure in who they are and what they're capable of to do that? Well, have they been trained to do that? I think a lot of these performers came through a factory process. CZW Moxley had all the potential in the world, but then he was crafted by Joey Mercury, and he gets it, kind of at the higher level. His master's degree came through there. So I believe a guy like him can handle it. There's other guys who can't, and that's because they haven't had the training. They don't have the confidence. They don't practice their promos. They don't know who their characters are. And they're not as committed to the bit, or they're just trying to work a little goofy gimmick. You know what I mean? Like the girl, Chris Stratlander, who did the alien thing. Okay. That's going to get her over this much to intro her. But she's got money written all over her. She's, a powerhouse player. Like her and Jenna Van Muscles would be an awesome tag team together, those two. But I want to see more. I know there's more there. And is she going to commit to being her and learn what her voice is in order to get that out there? But the voice I've been waiting to hear all week long, man. And I know you guys were pumped about it too. It's back. It's totally awesome, you guys. It's the Chris Silvio.
What is up, guys? I'm here and I'm in a considerable degree of pain right Right before jumping on this call today, I dropped an oversized bottle of hot sauce directly on my foot. I usually don't sell shit like that, but this one got me. I've been selling it and icing it now for about 10 minutes.
Yikes.
But I'm here and I'm clear. I'm ready to talk some fucking wrestling. How are you, Ben? Hamin? Nice to see your beautiful face.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I've talked out the weekend's events enough that I feel like we're at a calm level now, but I definitely am interested in your views on tonight's show and what's just been going on all the way around, dude. But yeah, I'm glad to be back with you. It's been a good week here at Hamin Media Group all the way around again, dude.
Hell yeah. I didn't catch up with you over the weekend. Did you do a watch along to the Revolution pay-per-view?
I watched the first 2/3 over at Referee Sideburns, and I came back and watched the end, and I was like, I unlisted it now, but I'll send you the clips of me dying laughing at the end. I was just like, I talked about a performance earlier in my day where I performed the wedding that was a botch, and not the wedding itself, but me missing a spot. And then, how that still scars me. And I'm thinking from the performer's standpoint, these guys actually worked that match the right way. I mean, there was all threat of violence until it was time to go. I would have liked to seen the ropes taken out to do it the real way.
Sure.
But then, whatever happens in the end, and they got to fight through it. And that's just live performance, but those guys are going to be wearing that for a long time of like, the moment, and it worked so hard and then it's gone, and you can't recapture it. But there are no mistakes, and they tried this week on Dynamite to do some damage control, but I think they overplayed their hand and they made the wrong move all the way around, dude, compared to what they could have done choice wise, because they're in the bubble and they're still feeling the repercussions of it.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I'll often get on you. Both of us, we don't let shit slide with the other one. I'll get on you sometimes for being overly critical, but you're right, man. Like I watched that match in its entirety. They worked it well. It was brutal. Like, other than that thing at the finish, it was a really good match. That's the shame of all this. You know what I mean? Is like no one's talking about that. And they did that damage control on the show, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think at any point did anyone put over the match, like how brutal it was, how physical, how it was a good match. All that they've talked about, both like fan criticism wise and the people behind the show, was just that 10 seconds where shit went wrong. Did you hear anybody praising the match on AEW?
Not really, dude. I mean,
Right?
to put it over, they're not even thinking about that, which is what they should do. I mean, if they wanted to lean into it, all you do is shoot a big explosion thing and then cut it over the top and be like, and the incredible match. And then everyone's like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like, we know what happened, but you never sell for it. And do the whole replay of the incredible explosion at the end. You know what I mean? Everyone could have been F you onto the critics by leaning into the fantasy and doing it this Wednesday. Instead, we got a lot of excuses. And, we've heard Omega's hot, but dude, I know exactly where he is. And I was wondering if you had any performance nightmares. We've all been there. I was saying before you came on, the live performance, especially in improv, is an agreement between the audience and the performer that anything can go wrong now. Danger, right? And we're doing improvisation, stunt show, combined with a pyro, and improv is just like, well, what's the next step? I don't know. If we fall together, but we're all going down here. And so there's that kind of leeway a little bit, but even though it's on TV, it is what it is. It's going to be judged as it is. The big problem is things like the setups with, guess what, Hall of Fame worthy, da-da-da. Oh, it's Punk. Oh, no, it's
right.
Right. And then here's the big explosion. Oh, no. Or would you give yourself the first year for a grade? An A. Oh, okay. Like, people are waiting. So when you don't do an A, when you aren't Booker of the Year, when something goes wrong, you're just setting yourself up for a Brian Douglas bear trap on that one. And I was just wondering, have you had any nightmare scenarios like that in ring, where you just see the finish line and then it slips away, bro, and there's no getting to it whatsoever?
I have, man, and there's nothing worse from a performer standpoint. Like, when you're in the ring, shit goes wrong all the time. And as long as it's not the finish, you can generally recover from it.
Right.
But when the finish is fucked, one match that really stands out, myself versus our good friend Shiloh Jones, one of my favorite opponents. This is as we were both really honing our skills. We were a little bit older. He was doing some shots with me at Ring of Honor, getting some exposure. And we had like a 45-minute match, and it was just beautiful. And it came time for the finish, and our referee just fucked up the finish. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was one of those weird things where the ref doesn't count three. Right. So I had to call it audible. So we put in 45 minutes of work, and we had that feeling with each other, that chemistry of, oh, what a great moment. And then put it this way, I yelled at the referee. And it takes a lot to get me to yell at you.
Yeah.
So
I can only imagine. And I imagine on that kid's fucking string of things, he's scarred by that too. Like, he thinks about that, and and then the saga continues of Murphy's Law. and this is where I was thinking of you, because I could just see us after the show, where if that shit happened, and like, we'll get them next time, and then this next show is a double botch, like where you would just give him the Silvio raspy laugh. What the fuck? And there's nothing we can do. During Ethan Page's promo and debut tonight, that somebody at TNT is out smoking a joint and fucking left the mixer half up, and everyone looks like an asshole on the night where nothing should go wrong, because we got to clean up the mess from before. So now, I mean, A rating, Booker of the Year, whatever, bro, tech crew of the year. Like, things are not a good look right now. And then stack on that an NFL team that's 1-15, a soccer team that got demoted, and he's selling for a girl yesterday who got a YouTube strike, who was trying to go with fair use of over commenting over the AEW stuff, very similar to what I was doing with Brody Lee's stuff. And Khan sells for and throws a fangirl under the bus who's watching his product, trying to move things forward for the industry. I don't know. She's just a fan. I'm not trying to sell for her, but like, this is what this guy's doing, man.
Hold on. You're throwing a lot at me. What was the deal with this girl? Was she just streaming her reaction, or was the video of the show playing as well?
I think it was like the end, the explosion where everyone's doing it, because they went through and to try and tear it down to do damage control. Their idea was hit people with fucking copyright infringement strikes that take down the video so no one would be seeing it instead, which is only going to make people talk more about how bad it was and then make your company have a bad outlook. Then he sells for it and fucking let me fucking see here, bro.
While you look that up, do you think the smarter course would have been to bring as little attention to it as possible? As opposed
I think making a joke out of wrestling is the way to go. Is the way to go.
I'm not quite sure how I'd handle that. You know what I mean? It takes some thought for sure.
I was interested. There's a couple ways we can go with it. You can just fucking blame it on whatever. Like, you could have had Omega and fucking Callis on top of the dome there with the sound guy, or not the sound guy, the pyro guy, shaking him. What did you do? You made me look like an asshole. And he fucking throws the guy off the side of the building. At least we're doing fantasy and comedy that we know the guy isn't really dead, but somebody takes the fucking heat for it. You know what I mean? There's 1,000 options to do, or we're going to re-show the match tonight. The match everybody's talking about. The explosion heard around the world. Lead up, show it. And fucking there on 3, 2, 1, you cut, and fucking huge explosions and da-da-da-da. So you're like, that's not what happened. And be like, what do you mean that's not what happened at all? But Instead, we get tell plotty excuses instead of show don't tell action to do something. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We're going forward. You know what I mean?
I like part of what you said. If we were collaborating on this booking, maybe Wednesday night we could open the show or early on in the show with a segment of Kenny Omega with these extras that look like engineers or scientists, where he would be berating the shit out of them for what they did and they didn't kill Moxley and blah blah blah. That could have at least been it, as opposed to Callis talking about it for 7 minutes. We just show that scene of them pissed and then move on from there. What's interesting about this, man, is like
that could become a game too. Anytime anybody fucks up in AEW going forward, they get thrown off the fucking roof and they're killed. You just kill a random production guy and in a fucking funny scene, and the heat is passed and we move on.
They do this thing on being the elite too. They used to do it, at least with Brandon Cutler, where Frankie Kazarian would always be on Cutler's ass, like if he fucked anything up with production, because he's like a cameraman for BTE. So that could have been part of the ongoing joke as well. Maybe Cutler was supposed to supervise it, and fucking Omega and them are berating Cutler and fire him or some shit.
Yep.
What sucks about this though is Eddie Kingston. We'll talk about what he and Moxley did on the show. I like that pairing. So when the explosion happened and Eddie covered him up, it was a beautiful moment story-wise. Eddie played it to a T, but some referees came in. Bro, don't you think one or two of them could have Iggy'd Eddie and said, hey, man, the explosion didn't look that good. Just FYI, don't oversell this. There were a few people in the ring. And
they were trying to dead sell it. And even the referee and what he was wearing it just made it ridiculous, right? It was absolutely ridiculous that some of the choices they've made. Very not A rating, I would not. Girl on Cinema here, AEW, take my ad revenue. You obviously need it more than I do, but mark my words, this means war at Tony Khan. She's got 823 followers. She did it at the time anyway. Khan responds, hey, just saw your tweet. I'm sorry this is affecting your ad revenue. It is possible to review the aforementioned clips like these you've listed, Jericho, MJF, press conference, Shaq versus Jade, Cody and Velvet, without illegally pirating the videos I budget millions per month to produce. Like, he starts out with a very thing and it turns into a backhanded fucking sassy little cunt remark. You know what I mean? And then she just writes back. She fires back with the Fair Use Act, number 107 of fair use. And even though people like try and slam her because they're marks, she goes, oh, by the way, great pay-per-view, thumbs up. So this girl's trying to help the product, even if she's negative reviewing it and going to try and get her views off it. And here comes the billionaire son bitching about pirating because of the millions he spends on it as his fucking slam. Again, have you ever seen Vince McMahon go at fucking a fan to fucking go back and forth with 823 Twitter followers? It's unbelievable, bro.
No, I've seemed to have lost connection with my camera. Give me a second. Okay. You go ahead and take the lead while I figure this shit out.
No worries. If you need to dip in, let me know. But yeah, dude, this gets it's a bad look. It's like everybody's inside the bubble, they're freaking out, and you're selling for it in public, and everyone's like, wow, man, like what is going on where we're supposed to have any faith and confidence in what's happening at all. It's just the marks are in the locker room fully, bro.
It's hard to kind of really understand that situation. But it seems kind of weird. Like, I don't agree necessarily that her doing a negative review is helping the show. I think it's so small time with 800 followers that, Tony Khan could have let her do whatever and just,
exactly
about his business. But, I if she's going on to purposely shit on the product, I don't think that's helpful to AEW.
Well, they went at a lot of channels that just had the fucking small clip up. They were looking for that in the algorithm. So that shows they're selling for that. Let's do damage control. We'll go to YouTube and flag anybody who does it so it doesn't get out. Like, that was their response instead of like, and then so butthurt even 2 days later that he's going to go after a fangirl, dude. This guy's a billionaire, and then he's going to bitch about millions on a show. that's just the lowest look without being policed as possible, bro. He needs a big brother. He needs his phone taken away from him. He needs to be unthroned as the booker of this thing, and it needs to be handed to you. But he's not gonna, because it's his pet project. It's what he loves, and it's not a business. Looking at it as a business, hey, maybe I shouldn't be, because I'm really not Booker of the Year. As it keeps going on and on and on, and we'll talk about. I mean, even the rest of that pay-per-view, still that the tag team battle royal, abysmal. I mean, so many botches, so many wrong things on debuts. I watched fucking Dos. The Big Bears came in. He hooks him up in a Rebel Rack, 370-pound guy on his debut, and fucking Player Dose picks him up to Rebel Rack him, bro. I'm just like, hell yeah. Just unbelievable. There was botch after botch. QT Marshall getting hot and eliminating himself over the top rope after dumping the Badass Twins. Like, the booking choices that are so far off, and they tried to play it tonight and further the story, but that's not how you do that story at all. Opening with the Bucks in a match. I'm even talking to Josh, I'll throw him under the bus, whatever, to get hot. He goes, that Bucks match was awesome. I go, yeah, it was for a Bucks match, but that ain't what should have happened there. You don't try and kill somebody's father and then go have a fucking 14 false finish opener to do that. You try and do a hit and run on them, where as soon as Jericho and him pull in the parking lot, you drive a car right into their car where they have to be airlifted out and the Bucks are arrested. Or the whole thing is not, if you have to have the match, you have a fucking punch kick fest where the Bucks leave them fucking laying and they only hit the super kick right at the end. Everything else is about beating the fuck out of them for what they did to your dad. No spots, no Meltzer drivers, no dives, no nothing, bro. Bucks match good? Yeah, for some other story, not whatever this was to start the pay-per-view off. And that didn't even start the pay-per-view off. We started off with the most rotten Japanese wrestling you've ever seen until Wednesday. So this whole thing was...
Are you referencing the pre-show?
Oh, what a shit bomb that was. And then
the first thing I saw in the pay-per-view was the Bucks.
Woo! Go back and watch the pre-show. But I gotta give props. Matt Hardy, Hangman Page, very good. Miro, the popcorn match with Miro and fucking those guys was one of the best because it was quick, hard hitting, and fucking had a decisive finish.
Miro's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, he looks great, dude. And he looks great too.
He moves great too. Yeah. He knows how to be him.
Well, I liked it. But here's the problem with that. Look how great he is. And he's in the fucking middle in the popcorn match, bro. Instead of being where he should be on the undercard, right under the fucking barbed wire match, bro. That's, you know what I mean? So we're not even taking the properties that have millions of dollars written on them and using them the way they should. And as Booker of the Year, that surprises me.
Well, we've said this from day one on the show. He just needs to get distance from Sabian. And I believe they're planting that seed like at the pay-per-view. I think he shoved like Orange Cassidy into Penelope Ford. And the commentator said something like, he didn't even care about Penelope. So hopefully that sets up the rift after this last match they have with Orange. That nothing against Sabian. He's a good up-and-coming talent. He just he hadn't gotten over yet. They didn't book him to get over, and he wasn't over yet. So putting Miro with them didn't really shake things up too much, but I think Miro on his own as a wrecking machine, he'll do just fine. But overall, man, I like the pay-per-view a lot. Come on. I understand your point. No, I'm being honest with you. I understand your point about the Bucks and MJF and Jericho. They should have came in hot and brawled and, made it a blood feud. The issues with that is, one, I don't know if the Young Bucks know how to have that style of match, or at least I've never seen them.
Fuck on them, dude. There should have been 0 pins. It should have been a knockout victory where the ref. It could have actually been MJF and Jericho up due to excessive violence, where the ref is pushing him off and he reverses the decision and he's giving him the fucking. The Bucks are giving him the Christmas Story double snorting, and because who gives a fuck about a win, dude? You tried to take out my old man. I gotta fucking end your life. I gotta. One other thing, brilliant filmmaking by Darby Allen in the cinematic match. Then they do Mystery Science Theater 3000 commentary over it. Bro, it would have stood alone as fucking Batman level shit, like of an action sequence. But even in that, why? Let me stop. Why is Sting in AEW and with who he's working with? What is his purpose?
Supposedly, or I guess by design, he's supposed to be there to enhance Darby Allen
and get Darby over. Who gets the pin, Sil?
Stinger.
Oh, his poor foot, buddy. I'd rub it for you if I was there.
It's all right. It's funny to me to watch the way like your brain works sometimes on this. That might have been my favorite match of the show.
Me too.
That tag match, and I wouldn't have even thought like that the commentary's out of place. I thought it was just fine. But what rubbed you the wrong way about it?
You have a beautiful visual. You have a live action movie. And it was like fucking 4 jabronis sitting in the front row while I'm trying to watch Batman going like this while they're fucking talking over it and commentating the Batman movie. One does not fit with the other whatsoever and what was going on. That whole thing would have been fucking phenomenal just the way it was, watching it as a movie clip without him. Brother, I can't believe they're doing, oh, Sting's gonna go. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to watch this fucking visually stunning piece of action film. It didn't need a word over the top of it, bro.
It was visually stunning.
I gotta tell you, the lighting was great. The fucking the warehouse,
camera lens, the cinematography.
Yes, the fucking car, the roll up, everything. And then we're gonna get phony wrestling over the top of a masterpiece, bro. It's like taking a fucking Van Gogh and letting your fucking 5-year-old finger paint over the top of a fucking original painting. It was just absolutely wrong. And then the business is to get Darby over and Sting goes over, which that's I just don't get it. How can Stinger go, guys, I appreciate you. I'd love to take the win here, but it'd be better if Darby went over. You know what I'll do? I'll do the top from the top drop through cage and you won't see us anymore. And then Darby can fucking finish and we'll actually do business here. But no, Stinger gets the fucking hard fought victory over Ricky Starks in a feud that they didn't even have together. Wow.
The only issue I had with the commentary during that match is when Shivani starts going, it's Hook. It's Hook. I don't know why. No offense to the kid. You know, I'm sure he's a young guy working hard. I've never met him. But, you know, he looks like a boy, and he is kind of a boy. He's not established yet. Like,
well, it's nepotism 101, bro. It's like, hey, give my
Shivani being like, it's Hook. It's Hook. Like,
everybody, it's Hook, everybody.
What is Hook done yet?
Shouldn't even have been. I mean, he should be working security and shit, you know.
I didn't see the battle royal, so I watched a little bit. I saw the finish of it. So
if you were going to do anything with Hook, even set it up, those guys would have rolled up, even though it was a 2-seater, not a 4, and been like, Hook, watch the car. Like, that's Hook's fucking job, is to stay with the car. You know what I mean?
Right. Last comment I'm going to make on the pay-per-view, and I will stand by that I liked it, other than a few of the errors, and did not see all of the battle royal. Good showing altogether. The Hook thing kind of rubbed me a little bit weird. I thought the women did pretty well. They had a more serious match as opposed to a lot of the goofy mime stuff. A little bit too much for my personal taste, but they didn't do bad. I just would have liked to see them tie it up a little cleaner, like we discussed earlier about the whole explosion deal. But overall, I thought it was solid.
I thought that girls' match was the shits. I think all these girls they brought in from New Japan are lackluster.
They're not from New Japan.
Well, I call every fucking girl from Japan from New Japan. I don't give a fuck. Oh, they're from old Japan then, because then they put over, she's from Ice. She was trained at Ice Palace. I'm like, well, to me, every trainer at Ice Palace sucks shit through a straw if that's the best you fucking got. To be honest with you, if like that's who you've put out here doing this, 7 Hogan leg drops, man, the first 6 didn't beat her. I wonder if the 7th one, a falsie, I never saw that coming, and just clown shit. They're clown. Those girls are rodeo clowns to me. That's the
knees
what's that?
Lots of knees in that one too.
So many just wasted fucking movements that ate up spots and bumps and killed the rest of the card too. They shouldn't be on the show. Sheeta don't impress me, not even a little bit. And everything.
Not a little Shania Twain over there, huh? That don't impress me much.
Don't impress me much. Yeah, dude. Fucking.
Don't impress on me much.
But then I'm feeling bad for Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa to even have to be working with these girls and to be honest with you, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa are just barely ready for TV themselves. Now they're the veterans who got to carry it. Woof. Bad news bears, bro. So I know you're my man, Captain Positivity. There was some great stuff here, but even the great stuff got fucked up by stupid decisions. The commentary, the pyro, the booking girls from old Japan, and the battle royal botch of all time, and then not doing the right Bucks business and just having a young Bucks get your shit in match. I don't know, man, how we can. This is TNA WCW on fast forward, like overloading your roster with big money players. If Joey Janela was getting a match once every 5 weeks on TV, what do you think he's going to get now? You know? Well, yeah, right.
Well, that's what I was going to say on the pay-per-view. You mentioned like that Darby should have been the one to go over. I actually think that whole angle kind of hurt Darby and it hurt Sting a little bit. And I don't necessarily blame either of them. Just the way that it was set up with Team Taz. Starks is going to be $1 million. I like Brian Cage. I like Taz. You got something in Hobbs. But just the way that those guys interacted with each other for the course of that 8 weeks, I think kind of to your point, though I hate to agree with you sometimes, normalized Sting. And, Darby didn't really get to shine during all that because he was doing all these silly segments with Team Taz. But the end result was great. So hopefully Darby and it looks like Scorpio Sky are going to have a good feud.
I agree. Oh yeah. The end of that was interesting. We'll get to that. And I'm not trying to put the heat on whatever hurt anybody's chances. But when I think and I see these matches with these girls they're nothing from Japan. They're a joke. These girls they're bringing over are a joke and an insult to the business, to be honest with you. When there's a Lady Frost, when there's a Holodead, when there's a Jenna Van Muscles, when there's a Beautiful People, like ready to go right now. Everybody, all the girls on the Impact roster that are 10 times the performer these girls are. And I have to keep sitting through this shit. It's like Omega's personal fetishes get to be on the show, and I don't understand. And after the botch at the end, putting those two girls matches on, I think it's apparent that he just needs to be talent from here on out because of the judgment call of it. It's those girls aren't drawing one viewer. In fact, they're making people turn the channel and laugh at wrestling.
Do you think, I know you watch a lot of Impact and speak highly of it. Do you think there's much potential for us to get a crossover between the women's division so we can maybe see a Jordan Grace or a Deanna against Thunder Rosa?
Yeah, that'd be 1,000 times better than what we're getting. But right now, they only have one move left. NXT's moving off Wednesday, so AEW will be feeling themselves. I think AEW will go to 1 million, like we had talked about. I think NXT is going to go to 700,000, and I think 50,000 of that is going to be drawn off of Impact, which is going to put Impact at about 80,000 viewers still. I mean, how can they justify at that time? So is this the final death blow to the zombie that is Impact Wrestling after a year of no crowds, no paper?
No, that should never die, bro.
The only thing they only have one move left, and that's to move to Thursday. Impact has to move to Thursday to even survive because that's the only open day that there is anymore. So it's going to be insane. But in a Sun Tzu Art of War, scenario, I'm going to attack the soft spot. And if AEW is aligned with Impact, I can get some fucking shots in there. I'm going to take them, if I'm NXT. So AEW feeling themselves with a false sense of security, but they wanted to be, but I don't think they're feeling themselves right now. Not after this week, bro. Not after. And then on NXT this past week, some of the worst women's punches of all time. Somebody just sent me a little while ago. Like they're complete dog shit too. They're not off the hook on any of this either. So, and what's even worse is they've got Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and William Regal. There's not a reason. Everybody over there should be the fucking a top 10 worker, and they're not even in kindergarten, most of them.
You got to see some of the women in my program, their punches, Jenna's punches, and we got this smaller girl. We have a smaller girl who is not a shooter. Her name's Marina Tucker. She does like a Detroit Barbie gimmick. She can work. I'm just trying to teach her the whens and whys. This chick's got a fucking punch like no one's business. She got like a fucking Jerry Lawler hand. So I've been telling her, use it once a match, make it mean something. You're a heel, do it at the right time. That's a fucking finish or a good heat spot. And my other girls are greener, but they're getting those hands too. So that's one thing I make sure to teach the women that a lot of coaches don't do. They don't show the women how to do punches and real striking and real grappling. That's why somebody like a Serena Deeb shines, somebody like a Rosa shines. So I'm happy to do my part to contribute to the future of the business and trying to put out well-rounded performers that can look like they're in a fight.
I would like to see that. Absolutely. I like watching Jenna's Muay Thai training, man. That shit gets me up and ready to go too. Because, dude, I would like to spar with Jenna in like a 30%. Let's fucking go. I want to see her skill. I know what her skills are. She's faster than me, and I would have no problem with headgear on punching her in the face. But I'd like to fucking. I think welcome it. I know. I think me and Jenna would be. I'm not bullshit. I think me and Jenna would be a good fucking intergender half shoot fight. Not like we work, but I would only go 30%. I hope she can go that on me because she got fucking stronger quads than I do, and I don't want to get calf kicked by her. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, her quads are way stronger than mine. She doubles my squats.
Dude, so I think that'd be a good fight, me and Jenna. I'd be in for that.
It would be. Let's give her a little plug before we do Dynamite.
Absolutely, review. Bro.
There's a match up right now, her recent match against Jordan Grace. It is on Title Wrestling Network on YouTube now, so check that one out. I thought they had some pretty good chemistry together. She'll be appearing on a live stream again on Title Match this Saturday. Taking on Woad, the weapon of ass destruction. Those two have had bangers in the past, two big chicks that can brawl and scrap, so that should be good. And I'll shout out that girl I mentioned earlier, Marina Tucker, to our listeners out there. Give her a look and some support, and let me know what you think. I think she's got a lot of potential.
Awesome, as I knock over everything on the desk.
Where's Bosley?
He's upstairs chilling. He's been having a good day, though. We went on our first walk yesterday to patrol the compound. It's been about mid-50s, so a lot of the snow's melted. So they were excited to get the hell outside yesterday.
No breaches on the compound?
No, everything's good. Just we've got a big fault line of poop that nobody crosses. So I mean, you don't cross the poop line.
Cross the shit line.
do not cross the shit line, Randers.
Did you hear Ray's working at the dump?
I heard
living at the dump. He's living at the dump.
Living there? Well, he's got everything he needs. Luxury beyond your wildest dreams, Silvio. But I tell you who wouldn't hang in the pocket like they did last night against Jenna Van Muscles is Ray Phoenix and Matt Jackson. Dude, I don't know how you're just going to blow off a blood feud, and move on business. And now because Phoenix and or Death Triangle won the Casino Battle Royal Tag Team Spectacular Fuckfest, now we're going to have Matt Jackson and Phoenix out of nowhere to kick that off in a get your shit in fest that really doesn't mean anything. And then they're standing in front of each other, bro, exchanging hands, exchanging chops. Nobody's even registering or selling. Phoenix has just got his arms down by his waist instead of like spin him around, beat the shit out of him. Like, it's getting really, really bad from guys who are. Phoenix is possibly the greatest high flyer ever in the history of wrestling, possibly the greatest multi-athletic lucha ever. But when it comes to even the basics of selling a punch, Matt Jackson hits him with a kick, drops him. Phoenix nip ups from there and fucking punches them back, bro. Like, it turns my stomach to see that when these guys have all of that athletic potential, all that charisma, and then they're killing the art of wrestling right in front of your eyes instead of being the next Shawn Michaels and taking it to the next level. Never would you see HBK just stand in the pocket, take a punch, and never like stumble away to crawl up the ropes. And, you know, dude, it's so bad. So from the top guys, I just don't get it, man.
So to get us on the rails a little bit here, the card did open up. That first match, we saw Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks versus Ray Phoenix. I'll agree with you on the punch. I think Ray Phoenix is fucking great. I've put him over many, many times on this show.
Sure.
Phenomenal. Matt Jackson, great piece of talent. Him and Nick are both great talent. But Phoenix don't have a good punch. So I'd say Ray either needs to just work on it. If he could do all this other spectacular shit, brother could have a punch in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Or just don't do them. Some people don't punch good, you know? Stay away from it. Do something else. They had their match, man. That's what I expect when I see those two performers in. So I'd have done the psychology different, but I wasn't in the match. So I can't really nitpick that. I thought it was a great spectacle of two good athletes. The only thing psychology that kind of got me a little bit was the spot at the end. We saw the cool Canadian Destroyer thingy, but Matt super kicks Pac on the floor, and Pac is the biggest jacked up one of all of them. Pac takes a great bump in his cell. Jenna points it out, like, look how great his cell is. Then Matt gets in the ring with Phoenix, gives Ray 2 super kicks, and then Phoenix does some kind of kick. That spot alone by itself with those two performers is fine because that's what they do. But when you had big ass Pac just sell 1 and then Ray takes 2 and hits you with the zippity doo-dah, it's a little bit off. But I could watch those two work all day. I like. They've had another match on Dynamite. I always like that.
Yeah, I just want to go back through it during when they're rehearsing or when they're in their circle of do not disturb, which I've seen, you know, of enough times been like, what are you doing right here? No, stop. All right, when you do this, please go to the ropes, go away from no boxer, no UFC fighter drops his hands and lets a guy fucking smash him in the face and then doesn't like go away. Even if he wouldn't do that to start with, but even if they did, you wouldn't just stand there, look, so you can wait and get yours in. You're going to go back off the ropes, maybe come back and hit him again. But it's just making wrestling super phony from two guys who have everything and they're not using it the right way, dude. In the end, Phoenix able to lift up Matty and hit the big muscle buster driver to pick up the victory.
It looked pretty nasty. It was like a version of Bam Bam Bigelow's greetings from Asbury Park.
Yeah.
You know what this one reminded me of, dude, was like a really good WCW cruiserweight match. Like when they just stood out as something different. Then you had the heavyweights working on top with more complex stories. It reminded me of that, or like the first time we saw Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis in ECW. You remember that shit when those two and Hoovy came?
Crazy and Tajiri. Yeah, super crazy match.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, I love those. Yeah,
as long as we get the other stuff on the show as well, I'm good with it.
I just wish they'd register and sell, man. That's the big thing. We go to our first apologist segment with Kingston and Moxley backstage being interviewed, wanting to know what happened with the big bomb not heard around the world. And then, you know, they try and this was all right. This wasn't the worst, you know, like try and cover for it. But once Omega and fucking Cyrus came back out, it wasn't good anymore. They tried to do whatever they could here to save it while they're drinking highballs in front of a hibachi or something, some shit like that. It looked like Mox's been drinking for about 3 days.
I don't blame him. That was a nice little grill. I like that hibachi setup.
Yeah, I like that.
So I'm going to bring some of my fucking Silvio to this and have a little fun. See if I can warm your cold, dead heart.
All right.
I love the on-screen pairing of Moxley and Kingston. The John Moxley character, as you call him, the James Dean Rebel Without a Cause. When I'm watching him and he teams up with like Archer or Phoenix, it doesn't make sense to me because Moxley doesn't look like somebody who would have friends. But if he had a friend, it'd probably be somebody like Eddie Kingston. Two fucking street kids that turned pro wrestler that were ghetto and still kind of are ghetto, even at their point of the career where they're making money. So Eddie's promo I thought was really good. And then him and Moxley interacting, you see the natural chemistry, much like you and I have. I love the visual of it. I love the sound. I just hope they give them a really good angle and don't do something shitty. But it was nice seeing them two on screen. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, they both have the gift of gab, and they're very natural, and that's where we need to go. That needs to be.
Do you agree with the fact that like the pieces fit in that situation?
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and them trying to go away from it shows that Booker of the Year doesn't know where his strength is. Cody Rhodes versus local talent. I didn't catch the kid's name here. I'm just reading it, but I'm sure this kid has paid his $4,500 to QT, and now he's on Dynamite. But Cody taps the kid with a figure four in under 2 minutes. Squash match. Could be the fastest AEW match of all time right here, but Cody's shoulder's hurt, so why not go over with the fucking figure four? Why does he even really need to have a match here? Still is what I'm asking myself.
To give him a win since he lost at the pay-per-view and to set up the promo. It was a backdrop. I can't remember the guy's name either. I just have Cody defeated a large man with figure four in under a minute. There you go. That guy was big as fuck.
Yeah.
Yep. I do have a little bit of background on him. From what I understand, he's very new. He's about a year, 2 at the most in the business. I believe 1 year. And I believe he does train at Nightmare Factory in Georgia.
So there you go, guys. Proof's in the pudding. You want to buy a spot? You can buy a spot.
Promo.
Yeah, after the match, Schiavone interviews Cody. Before being able to say too much, Penta comes out. He says he's 1,000 times better than Cody. Well, he didn't.
An interpreter.
Yeah, he gets the interpreter from the Spanish announce desk. This was kind of weird because he's talking part in Spanish, but all I can think of is Pentagon sounds like Cobra Commander, Mexican version, and now I want Mexican Cobra Commander more than anything. Cody believes himself to be the Prince of Pro Wrestling, then he's the Lord of Lucha Libre. He says that if he was in the ring alone with Pentagon, he would have hurt Cody's arm permanently. He wouldn't hurt him so bad that he would not have been able to lift his new baby girl. And that's all Cody can stand. He can't stand no more. So he runs after Pentagon, and then out comes all of the mid-card tag team guys to separate. We saw Pillman Jr. out there and Griff and all the boys. I mean, this got hot.
Mm-hmm. I like Pentagon in the suit with the mask. I thought that was a cool visual. I like the idea of the interpreter. We'll see how his chemistry is with Cody. I'm intrigued by this. Like I usually say in these scenarios, I'm going to see where they go with it. We're just going to have to see those two in action together. But I would overall, man, I want to see Cody get back to doing some of the more emotional business he did in the first year that really got him over. Like if you think of how emotional his story was with Dustin, how emotional his buildup with Jericho was, where he gave up any future title, that emotional build with MJF. That's the heart. Cody was the heart of AEW, and those things are him. That's what he got from his dad naturally. So it might be difficult to get that with Penta due to the language barrier. But I want to see them get back to showing the heart of Cody, because I think that's the magic of him. That's what makes him work.
I agree with that. Then we get a Brandy tweet on Q. Oh, the hell to the no. He ain't talking about my baby. And dude, are you a woman with a master's degree who is the chief of marketing, or are you going to be baby mama drama? Like, dude, just put the phone down, kids.
Is the baby born yet?
No, his born date hasn't happened.
No.
And you know I'm always a better guy after the baby that's being born is born.
Mm-hmm. You get more responsibles.
Yeah, I get them all the time. Stinger comes out to talk to Shivani now, and a weird promo that doesn't really get anything over and gets interrupted by Jake and Murder Hawk. He says that Darby's a dangerous man. Before he can go too long, they come out and boom. He says all of this is a waste of their time. If there's not going to be time given, they're going to take time. Remember that. Jake Roberts has on a snakeskin jumpsuit, jogging suit. Pretty interesting look. And this was a terrible promo by Sting after he gets interrupted. Nobody really got over in this. And then it seems like Sting's going to take it home. He goes, I'll see you next time. and walks away from Shivani, and Shivani's standing there going, okay, back to you, brain. This was not a good segment.
It was just a little confusing.
Yeah.
One of the things about their recent storytelling that I'm not very fond of, I've been the first to put over some of the good storytelling they've done, but it's hard in some instances now to tell the heels and the faces, and it seems like they keep muddying it. Like, it looked like they were giving Archer the big rub as a monster babyface. Now he's coming out to interrupt super babyface Sting. So maybe just a little bit more consistency so the viewer knows who they're supposed to like and not like.
Sorry, 1 second. Well, Gully Blanchard in the chat here has a great point. Says, what is it with AEW advertising someone for a promo only to get interrupted? They did the same thing with Christian later and stepped on his time. It's just like, you get one chance on a show to do these tricks. You can't do a magic trick and then the audience seen it and then come back and do the same trick 40 minutes later and be like, ta-da, like, that was what we just saw. Oh, okay.
Here's something too, going back to what we were talking about, the feud with Team Taz, Darby, and Sting, is every Sting promo for the last 8 weeks has been interrupted.
Everyone.
So why did we need interruption today?
More and more and more. Maybe they'll learn, maybe they won't. All Ego, Ethan Page versus Big Shotty, Lee Johnson. Pretty good match here, but everyone is going to be talking about the audio malfunction. NBA audibly heard with the sounds of defense. Ain't no mountain high enough by the Temptations and more. Pop. Yeah, I feel bad because, but here's the thing. Let Ethan Page have the mic next week, and you don't tell him what to say at all. He's already got it. He'll get it over. He'll shit on the NBA. He'll fucking be insulted. He'll get himself over as a heel because of all of it. He'll shit on Tony, and you take it, and you're going to have a made guy if you give him 90 seconds to get himself over next week based off of the fuck up that happened this week. He's a guy who can fix it.
Yeah, I believe he can. It was rather unfortunate for the guy's TV debut to go that way because it was no fault of his own. And there's just no way you could focus on the match. We couldn't hear his promo. Then the audio issues were so bad that, like, you know, I have head injuries, so it was fucking practically exploding my brain. I couldn't even listen to it. But I imagine the people that don't have fucking head injuries had trouble with it. You need to
pop on your head. Be like, I have head injuries. I can't take this, bro. Like, we need a disclaimer. May fuck with Silvio's head injuries.
May make your brain explode.
Jeez.
Poor Ethan Page.
Yeah, but like I said, everything's a gift. You know what I mean? And he could spin that, and that's get him right off to the races. You know,
we don't have our producer of the year here, and I won't claim to be a production guy. But what was the deal? It seems like that was a TBS or TNT error.
It was a TNT error.
There was nothing AEW could have done.
And it was only on the East Coast, apparently.
Really? How the fuck does that happen? I've never heard of that ever.
So it's somebody in Atlanta who's doing the signal from Jacksonville to send it out, I imagine, had fucking the main control board up at 50-50 something.
You watch sports outside of wrestling?
Yeah, some.
Some. How long you been watching wrestling?
Since I was 6. So 7 years.
So same with me. I'm 37. I've been watching wrestling since my born day, 37 years. I've watched sports off and on my whole life. I have never once seen that happen either in a pro wrestling or sporting event where the sounds from another event is happening. This isn't even a knock on AEW, just television wise. Like, I've never seen this happen ever. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'm just trying to think of the board of how they'd have it set up.
Can you name an instance where that you've seen that in all your years watching wrestling or sports?
I don't think a crossover like that.
Right? It was insane.
Yeah, man. We'll see how he deals with it, but shout out to Ethan Page.
Did you think it was your TV for a minute?
No, I was on doing Horseman, so by the time I got it had already happened, so I had known something was fucked up, but you know, it wasn't
live.
Yeah,
I was watching live like a mark.
Then Christian Cage is here. He comes out and it's supposed to be his segment, but then Omega and Cyrus come out and cut an awful promo, a terrible promo, full of plot, full of Cyrus trying to do his wrestling guy thing, and it's all that shit needs to be wiped from wrestling. Omega can't cut a promo. He thinks that closing his eyes and looking up means being serious, only to come down and then give a coy look at the camera. That trick is played out fully. They both need acting lessons on how to get over, because they have the charisma, but they aren't bottling it and selling it the right way. Meanwhile, the Good Brothers stand there like fools with them. And the Good Brothers probably had the best Good Brothers segment on Impact this week that I've seen in a contract signing with Juice Robinson and Finley Jr. It was very fucking good. So very good, because it starts plotty, but it ends all show don't tell and ties the plotty part into it. But I definitely suggest watching that if you guys didn't see that.
Good Brothers.
Yep. But here everybody looks stupid. There's an overhead shot of Callis and Omega 69ing. I mean, like, it's funny to say it now, but in the moment you're like, what? And then Christian comes out at the end to try and shake Omega's hand after everybody else powders. And then Omega takes another cheap shot at him. Christian duck one, waist lock, gonna get him in the unprettier. Callis pulls Christian to safety, and fucking we're obviously gonna get Christian Cage and Omega in a one-off with no real program here.
Now, the Hamin I've known for years has been a paragon of someone who exudes rugged sexual energy.
Yeah.
So you're trying to tell me that you didn't like the dry hump in the 69 references? The guy as sexy as you claim to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny for a minute, but Callis isn't the guy to be making those with, you know. It would have been better if Good Brothers were like calling the action, like, get on him, 69 him, and like calling the spot. Now that would have been
Gallows could have gotten away with it.
Yeah, he could have. Gallows definitely could have got away with it, bro. But no, this whole segment is, you know, a bad apologistic, belly blushed, selling for the fucking flop, instead of dealing with it in a creative, tongue-in-cheek, comedic kind of way. And like the thing, you know, and that's what we did. We took it away from you. Tony wants to give it to you, but we took it away. The old Vince, just when they want it, you take it back from him. And like, yeah, but now he's talking about promoter business tricks to try and save his ass. This segment shouldn't even have happened, bro.
I like all four people that were in that segment. It was ridiculous, though, the sexy parts, like, that was just absurd. Yeah. Here's the deal with it. You remember I was speaking very highly of this angle when it came out. You were shitting on it, and I was trying to get you to come on my side of the road for a little bit, trying to get you to give me
how you feeling now after that 18-wheeler wreck?
I was trying to get at least one vote from the right side over, but what has hurt this is the cross between heat and comedy. So when this happened, Callis came out, gave him the microphone, Omega wins the belt, runs off. There was heat in that. And there was expectation. The next week, it was a huge build. What's he going to say on Impact? He did the promo. I liked it. I thought the pieces fit. You had your commentary. But there was still heat to it. They've done some good segments, but an example like the one they did at the school with the little kids.
Bad.
You go into, I don't think the thing was bad. It just went into comedy.
Yeah.
You can't have heat and comedy living on the same plane. I think Omega as a heel.
The golfing one was stupid too.
I think Omega as a heel can work very well with Don Callis, but he's going to have to either be like a crazy motherfucker, like he just lost his shit and now he thinks he's a fucking god and he's, you know, chauvinistic and thinks he's better than everyone and he just is a lunatic now, you know, or find a different way to play the gimmick. because that's what hurts this, is when we flip back and forth from him being this serious, unpredictable, violent guy and then doing the comedy. I know he's trying to find a middle ground, like a little NWO DXy, but I want to see some heat, that, especially with Omega and Callis. Like, let's get them some fucking heat.
Yeah, Callis needs to stop talking on the mic, bro. That's just what it is. Like,
he's a good promo though. Just needs to stop being funny.
He is, but the disingenuous wrestler guy, that we've jumped the shark on that. When you're trying to talk in insider terms, don't worry, kid, we're going to take care of you. Like, as soon as I hear that, shut it off, bro. Like, we're just playing wrestler. We're just playing good brothers do this and that and the other. No, if you're a fucking worm, show me the worm move, bro. Show me you politicking and not just, we took it away from them. Didn't we, Kenny? Because when we call the shots, it's our shot to take, and we take what are you fucking even saying? If Brian Cage wanted to come out and shove your head up your ass right now, he could do it. And so can Murder Hawk. Like, there's nothing you're going to do, so nobody thinks you're over. Nobody's scared of you.
That'd be a cool segment idea.
Yeah, better not cross Cyrus. Oh, what am I? You want my brain to tell my finger to pull this trigger, fucko? Yeah, I do. Yeah, because it'll do it.
So the last part of this, we had Kingston come out and try to take on all of them, gets a few licks in. Then we have Mox come in. I like that part. I thought it was cool seeing them kicking ass together. Mm-hmm. Then they fuck off. The four of those guys fuck off, leaving Omega in the ring for Christian to come in and do the little spot. We still haven't heard Christian speak, so I'm intrigued by hearing what he has to say about being at AEW and where they're going to go from here.
At last, he was on his own. Mm-hmm. Christian trios match. Hikaru Shida, Rotten Mizumiyami, Thunder Rosa, that dude Nick Rose, Britt Baker, and Maki Shido. What?
Nyla Rose, Britt, and Maki Ito.
Maki Shido. Wow.
Go ahead.
Do your thing first. I don't know if there's another sound botch. They come out and it starts and they start brawling and it starts hot. I didn't mind with that. Britt Baker is in incredible shape. Looks great. Easy on the eyes. Thunder Rosa too. And I'm like, please don't hurt either of these girls. Maki Ito comes out to do her anime,
pop singer,
pop culture, pop singer, Japanese bit. Then the sound goes out. Sound botch too. Props to Maki Ito. She knows that's her time. She keeps singing and doing her Disney thing. And the guys are popping for it on commentary because it's one of those things. And now we're in an organic moment. She finishes up and people are brawling to like this pop singer thing that she's doing. I laughed until she grabs the mic and starts hitting, I believe, Hikaru Shida in the head with the most phony, sickening, make me fucking puke little mic shots on tap, tap, tap on the head. And it's supposed to be, when I see that, Rip. What would Rip do right there? Ring the fucking bell. Get the fuck out of my ring. Get the fuck out. Get out. Like, you're rotten. You're there. That was your time. It's your chance. You're done. Anything she did after that, I didn't care about it all, bro. She ruined that. She opened that match, saved herself in an organic fuck up because of production, and then ruined the entire match within under a minute. It could be a new world record.
Any other commentary on the match?
I didn't. What was the finish on this?
Rosa went over with
surprise. The big corkscrew splash on the outside was stupid because it only hit two of them and 4 people fell down or 5 people fell down. Those types of things got to go. Also, I did like the pose down in the corner with Britt and or Vicky and Rebel. I thought that was a good little stunt and spot for on camera. But then at the end, and this I got, I love Rebel. I talked to her last week, but at the pay-per-view, bro, she does a blind on the opener, a fucking blind shot with the crutch.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it hits her right here in the face, like full shoot. And then here, I mean, and you know the Joey Mercury way, cover the end and fucking dong with it, right? But then at the end here, she's got the crutch and they're looking for heat as they got her down. She puts her forehead in there where the little fucking shoot round pieces are. If you ever had crutches and they're adjustable, and is like grinding over her forehead, you know that wasn't a called spot. And I'm thinking, dude, things like that always like in the moment seem like I got to do something right here. Just put the crutch on her and pretend to be choking her, not trying to shoot gig her while with the fucking inside of a crutch, man. Like this shows, and you know, like I say, all my love to Rebel. I always have a good time talking with her. But it's things like this, dude, that show me that nobody's taught them. Like Joey Mercury, when he asked me at that house show, he goes, "How are you going to hit him with the flag?" I go, "Well, he'll be down all four, so I'll hit the ground." And then the other probably goes, "Nope." He goes, you stand him up, you put your hand over the end, you come in, boom, and then you let your hand boom like that, and you can follow through. Nobody gets hurt. All you're hitting them with is the back of your hand. Meanwhile, and I'm like, okay, and I've done it that way ever since, you know. Once in a while, if there's a special thing and somebody wants to fucking get guillotined, then we'll do it. But dude, that type of stuff in the moment is the most dangerous and exposing to me of like people have never been trained or how to do this type of stuff and get heat and safely and make it look real.
For those just listening to the audio of this, Hamin was describing hitting somebody with a weapon similar to how Triple H gives a sledgehammer shot where he puts his hand over the thick part of the sledgehammer. So in case you couldn't see his.
Thank you.
All right, man. This may be the first time I'll go on record on this in the history of this broadcast by saying this. So I got to be honest. We'll keep it short and sweet. This was rotten. I don't think I've ever on this review show called the match rotten before. I would give it a grade R for rotten.
F-R if you want to.
Here's why. I didn't feel that jazzed up. I thought about it, but I just gave it an R. Here's why. It was one of the, if not the worst opening to a women's match in AEW history. She comes out doing Makita, comes out doing her pop singer gimmick. Loads of charisma. That's cool. The one thing that girl has for sure is lots of charisma. And she looks like a cute little Japanese woman. What hurt this really bad is she's doing that and everyone's fighting, but they didn't seem very confident in what to do while staying small during the fight. So I'm watching and I see Hikaru Shida selling for Rebel and selling for Vicky Guerrero. And I believe Shida even took a bump for Vicky Guerrero on some weird strike. Vicky's not a striker. Vicky's a voice. Her money is in her promo and her, excuse me, Jen in the house. So just right there, I'm watching and I'm like, man, something's really off about this. And then we see Maki Ito do the mic shots. And then once we got in the ring, it just, you could tell that everything was very, very phony about it. I really,
let me do the mic shot. Ooh.
Very good. For those watching, Jenna hit me to scale of how Maki Ito did.
Scene.
That's good.
Like,
should I get signed now?
Before I let Jenna open up shop here, I talk about all the time how much I like Britt and Rebel. They're fucking great. Thunder Rose is awesome. She really tried. Nyla Rose is getting better. But all of those pieces together just did not equal the chemistry you need for a match. And as a booker myself, I would have been very hesitant to put all those moving pieces together. You got to remember, the more moving parts you add, the more delicate the balance is. So if one thing goes off, we're fucked. And I think, I mean, this kind of goes back to culture a little bit too. Our culture and our comedy is different to culture in Japan. So like maybe that match, people would have laughed it out of the building in a good way in Japan. With some of the goofy stuff.
I don't know. I love the Extreme Elimination Challenge. I think they should take fucking all these people that they're bringing over from there and fucking launch them into a wall. I would enjoy that 10 times more than what the fuck I'm seeing just bastardize and brutal this business, where true athletes and true performers, like one sitting next to you, like Lady Frost, like Holodead, fucking should be having these spots. Meanwhile, I got to sell for a guy who's in the ring, and I got to refer to as a woman who should be working like Awesome Kong.
You still have not got over that. Let's fucking move past that. We've been talking about that for 2 years.
No,
Let her be whatever she wants to be.
That's fine. But well, I don't think so. I don't think you can move past it, bro, because you get you get to be that. If she was, then she should be working like Awesome Kong, and nobody should be
with that.
She just needs some bigger girls that it's like, how many times can you watch her squash somebody? You know what I mean? Bring in some bigger talent to help.
She's not squashing nobody. She's not squashing anybody. She should be beaten.
True.
I have no problem with you being, if you want to identify as a woman and you're really not. Okay, boom. But know that I'm not going to go, oh, well, she's a delicate little flower now. No, that's a dude who's 220 pounds who identifies as a woman. And because of the SJW world we live in right now, we got to put it over. But that means she should be squashing girls in 90 seconds. No more than that, ever. Instead, she's on the cell to get her shit in and this type of stuff. You know, whether pronouns here, there, or the other, it's just the wrong wrestling at the end of the day, especially if it was just a truly X chromosome big woman, but it's not. It's also a man, and she's still not beating it. So as a man, you're kind of a double pussy, because these little Japanese girls can whoop that ass, you know?
Regardless of her gender, she just needs to be booked stronger for sure, and she needs to learn to protect herself.
But because of the gender stuff, it adds a whole nother layer of phoniness to it. You see what I'm saying? You can.
I think it's subjective.
You know what I mean? It's not like she's in MMA and strapping up to fight another woman. We're not there yet, but this is wrestling, and we all know it's a show and entertainment. So, gender aside, she just needs to be booked stronger and stay true to herself and be a strong,
beat some ass,
big, strong woman.
And please let Vicky say "excuse me" or something. She hasn't done nil promos. That's her thing.
Yeah, she don't need to be getting involved and
a new catchphrase for her, from "excuse me" to whatever the new thing is. You know, and she's the epitome of what a Karen should be right now, and we're not getting anything with that. No setup scenes for her to go off on somebody to then go, Nyla Rose, go get him. Nyla Rose should just be a big hitter for what pisses off Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah.
What do you got? What would be a good Vicky catchphrase?
A catch? I don't have.
Since she doesn't do "excuse me."
I don't know what the big catchphrases are right now.
Mask on. Put your mask on. If she just wanted to do that,
mask on.
you're just correcting people out. They're wearing their mask. You just have somebody with it below their nose. Put your mask on. She fucking just keeps going off.
I like that. Yeah. Or maybe she can gripe about spots, high spots. This isn't wrestling.
Yeah.
My husband, Eddie.
Yeah, right. Put
he was a wrestler.
Well, I just wanted to say hi to you guys and say what's up to all your listeners. But Chris said, if I have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. So I'm just saying hi and not commenting on the match.
Don't worry. I've said all the mean things, but the next thing is booked, and I saw you getting your left kick down the other day. You said you're turning your hip over. I think what I want to do is I want to spar with you at about 30-40% with headgear. Shoot fight, me versus you.
Okay.
I'm not working you. I'm not trying to rib. I think your skills are impressive, and I think you and I would be a fucking interesting.
I think the listeners would get a kick out of that. Mm-hmm. No pun intended there. But yeah, I've had my left leg and my left hip have had issues. I was in a car accident when I was younger, and I have lots of issues I try to work through every day. So it took me a year to just lift my leg and kick in that direction. It started from not being able to even lift the left leg. So yeah, just try to combat all the issues and keep my training going. And yeah, it was what might be like a small little thing to someone, that was like a big deal for me yesterday.
Oh, absolutely. I had a lot of sciatic issues too, being a big fat unathletic motherfucker. And because I worked on my Muay Thai and my boxing, I got a lot of mobility and a lot of clicks out of it too. So when I saw you post that, I was pumped for you. But now I said, no, I want to whoop that ass. So if you want to, you know, I'm not
live stream it. I think everyone would like that for sure.
So always good to have you on, Jenna. Always welcome. And the favorite part of it.
You guys aren't with the producer, it's just you two today.
Yeah, we said fuck Maddie, get him out of here.
Matt today.
I put over your match this weekend. If you want to comment on
the Weapon of Ass Destruction and I are going at it again. This time for GCW. It'll be streaming on Title Match Network on Saturday. Starts at 6 p.m. So tune in. It'll be a banger as usual.
Awesome.
You're a banger.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for the support, everyone.
Keep kicking ass, Jenna. Keep posting those videos. You get me inspired.
All right. You soon.
Y'all
coming to Florida.
You heard it first. The lovely, sexy, beautiful,
Hamin.
violent, talented Jenna Van Muscles and Ben Hamin one-on-one.
I like that. And then I like this. Darby Allen versus Scorpio Sky after he won the Nyla Jax hemorrhoid pillow ladder match. He is cashing in to take on Darby. You know, I would have liked to see more follow-up from the cinematic stuff instead of just throwing these matches out there right away, you know, like grabbing the brass ring and getting the title shot. Well, next night, like we're missing build. We're missing essential build for Scorpio Sky when we just shotgun this to give him wrestling. Scorpio Sky has been restarted twice now, and he was injured the once. And people have been into him every single time. But that because that doesn't mean you can just pull the trigger again. We need some emotional stakes here going into this because both these guys can work and they're fucking interesting characters. But we didn't get any of that. We just kind of got the match. And it was a match based around counters. Darby dives the outside. Fucking Scorpio saves his ass and fucking hits him with his cutter to slow him down just a little bit. There was another spot where they were doing something. I can't remember, and he countered out of that too in a big way. Maybe it was like a fisherman's buster or something like that, or I can't remember. But then coffin drop, Sky reverses that into a power bomb, and then Scorpio's going to get him up for the fucking F5, and Darby hits him with the fucking Richard Cranium large package. 1, 2, 3. Wrestling wins the match out of nowhere, as opposed to jumping off the Empire State Building spots. Fundamental wrestling is now more over than fucking spots. So we falsy on all that, but you can get hooked up. Still, that's confusing psychology to me. I like the win out of nowhere. I like the story of counters on high spots, but I needed a lot more leading into this, bro.
For somebody that works a similar style to those two, albeit a bit more old school, I think the small package finish is all right, but you must use it sparingly. Once you've given all these heavy guns already, you know, it's not always time for the roll up, but that's not a hard and fast rule. If it happens sometimes, it's okay. You just don't want to do that every single match. With that said, I could watch these two wrestle all day.
Sure.
Scorpio Sky looks so fucking good right now, physique wise, facials. His work has never been better. Darby Allen can work his little ass off. Great baby face, knows when to sell. I loved everything about this match. I think the issue that you're pointing out is something that we've discussed over the last few weeks on this show, is AEW will often have something happen and then move on without addressing it. Similar to how I went on last week about the Shaq match, how there were no replays. They never brought up. Once Shaq and Cody happened, that was it. They just left it. No replay to say, here's what happened last hour, or what's going on with Shaq. That's kind of what happened here, is like we went right from that blood feud of, Team Taz versus Sting and Darby, and then right directly into this thing with Scorpio. So you're right. There wasn't any stakes. What's interesting about it was that we had Scorpio apparently turn heel at the end, where he got pissed. He attacks Darby, heel hooks him. Darby set it up smart early on where he hurt himself going for a flip. I love that. I teach it in my class.
That got me too, because as an ex-skateboarder, I know I'm not built like Darby, but I used to be pretty good on the stick once in a while until I started snapping and when I became a big fat bastard. But when he did the ankle roll and sold and they put it over on camera, what's great about an ankle roll, Sil, in the way it is, because Al would say most people have never been power bombed, but they have been whatever, you know what I mean?
Ankle rolled.
Yeah, so you know that pain. So as soon as they said it, my shit started hurting. But then Scorpio Sky didn't go for the fucking heat on the ankle right there, which made me believe the ankle roll was real. But still, as a fucking heel, you got to go for it. You know what I mean? So that was a little weird. But then in the end, they'd go back to it with the heel hook. So it worked, but the heat in the middle didn't work for me, because that should have been the story after the ankle roll is Garvin stomp, fucking leg pump, fucking, you know what I mean? All that kind of shit. Even Darby trying to stay on his legs, getting his legs swept out from underneath him. We just didn't have that story. We had a get your shit in counter high spot story, which was weird after that heat spot.
Here's something that I teach all of my students. I mean, there's one, in my opinion, in my teachings, there's only one fundamental difference between baby faces and heels. And that difference is their intent. Is their intent honorable or is it dishonorable? So I actually teach this exact example as a way to explain the role of the heel versus the baby face. So in this situation, if I'm working with you and you legitimately hurt your leg like that, and I'm a baby face, I have a choice to make. And I'm going to slow everything down to let the audience see my face and see the conflict within me. And I have two choices. One, do I do the honorable thing and try to win the match without hurting you worse because I'm a baby face? Or do I do the dishonorable thing, make it look like I'm about to be nice to you, and then kick the shit out of your leg? So that's what I was thinking while this was happening. And when Scorpio didn't attack the leg, I said to myself, okay, he's trying to stay babyface. He didn't want to pull that too much.
But then he heals on him
at the end. Right.
So that's like, and people, Scorpio Sky's a natural babyface. He's too athletic to fucking be working heel. Why would you chop down his offense and athleticism? So Booker of the Year makes a wrong decision here post-match, in my opinion.
I don't think he should have turned.
I don't think he should have either. I think these guys should have had a banger 4 or 5 fucking back and forth, and then something happens where Darby's in jeopardy next, and it's not Sting who's by his side. It's fucking, and the guy's name is what? Scorpio Sky. What's Stinger's fucking gimmick?
Scorpion.
Holy fuck. Could you imagine trying to do something to tie all three together? Like, this shit, as Ripper would say, is so fucking easy. But instead, they make the wrong choice. So they come to a Y in the road, and they take the wrong road almost every single time, bro.
These two have such good chemistry together, too, that I could see them doing like a best of 7 series. Like, we don't really get, right? We don't really get many.
It ain't about the belt. It's about the evenly matched and the respect earned. So when the heat comes, because of what we did there, brother, I'll go to war with you over here, and I got your back because of it. You know what I mean? But
maybe we'll still get the best of 7. We'll see where they go with it. I wouldn't personally have turned Scorpio. Hopefully they do something good with it, but he's a hell of a fucking talent. My God.
Yeah. Inner Circle War Council to finish here. Chris Jericho says that when an army's having an issue, they have a war council. He says that things need to get shaken up and maybe need to add a new member. MJF says, whoa, kid. He says he thinks that somebody needs to go. Out comes Sammy Guevara. He's back after whatever that behind-the-scenes heat with Impact was, man. Interesting. Guevara tells Jericho, so he was leaving on a fuck this, but now he's back out of a nowhere thing. Tells Jericho that there's something that he needs to see. They show the cameraman Inner Circle locker room, and MJF's telling Santana, Ortiz, and Hager they need to cut the head off the snake tonight. They need to give the swan song to Jericho and take him out. MJF tells, and they all fist bump and they agree to it. That was Santana Ortiz and Hager and MJF. So MJF tells Jericho he didn't want him to find out this way, but he tells him LAX and Hager and Jericho and Sammy, they step forward and they turn around to face MJF. So it looks like they're going to close in on Jericho, but then they turn and you see that the lines have switched. And now it's MJF out all by himself in the cold. But MJF says he wasn't trying to take over the inner circle. In fact, he was trying to take over the group because he was building one of his own, and then the lights go down for too long of a time because you got to get Tully out there without having him get hurt. And then the lights come up, and it's Wardlow, Shawn Spears, and fuck the Revival with Tully Blanchard, the new Four Horsemen, and then they beat down the inner circle. They give him the big diamond ring punch and get color on Jericho. They throw him through a goddamn table, and there's duct tape on him.
Off the stage.
Off the stage. There's carnage. Power bombed him off of there through the tables to end the show. So we end on a big fucking. I like the way the show ended on the Snaves. Mm-hmm. I do gotta say though, the Shawn Spears thing, man, it hurts me, dude, to watch him go away and do the fuck you. You guys have fucked me up. Every company can't get it right, and I'm gonna come back when it's my time. And that just means having a blonde mohawk and now being the out man in the new Four Horsemen. Dude, there's just so much more that Spears should be. Spears is a fucking top caliber talent, and to see him in this, even though it's with, good guys, they're getting to work with top guys, I just see a lot more money on him. But that was something I want to say about his comeback. This end segment was a little hokey, but it worked. And the Sammy Guevara thing is kind of like, hey, Jedi mind trick. Never mind what we what we did before, So what are you thinking here, buddy?
I was very intrigued by it, and I think it was fairly captivating TV. Sammy Guevara, the last we saw, he was rolling his bag out, and he said something like, "I just need some time away from all this."
Yeah.
So clearly he had his few weeks and now he's back and Jericho was his mentor. So to me, it makes sense as to why he would try to warn Jericho of what's happening. The last thing I expected was for that group to pop up or to MJF to have his group. So they got me on that one. And it's a good combination, man. When you have, it's kind of an old school group. You got FTR, you got Spears, and you got MJF. MJF is arguably the best, old school working heel in AEW. And you add Tully and possibly JJ Dillon into this mix. That's given me hope that maybe we can start interjecting some more old school into AEW. Mm-hmm. So now it's a variety show. It has everything. It's got the Rey Fenixes. It's got this compelling storytelling with Cody. It's got the old school vibe. That will really help the company out. I like it. I thought it was cool. They might be doing what we've said on this show. I pitched an angle a while ago about Jericho, getting jumped and getting taken out and getting put on the shelf for several weeks. He comes back in good shape, ready to kick some ass. So maybe this could be it. We see MJF get a title put on him or something. Jericho finally runs out to whoop that ass. Now we get a good blood feud. So I'm interested to see where they're going. My only thing is I don't know if there's room for two heel factions at the top with now Kenny Omega being the champion doing that thing and then this new group. So we'll see where they play out. I almost feel like if they knew they were going to do this group, maybe they should have just kept Omega and Callis, and not really made them a faction.
Well, doing that thing you do, they're going to do it. I mean, Wardlow looks strong here. He featured at the end, but what you're going to get already, you're going to get LAX versus FTR. You're going to get Hager versus Wardlow, Jericho and MJF. They'll hold off and probably get a bunch of heel wins with MJF helping and doing stuff with Tully. And then you're going to get Spears and Sammy. That's where we're going for the next probably 5 weeks. That's how I'd book.
We're going to get MJF and Sammy too, because they got to pay that off. They'll
pay that off too. Yeah, and I would do that. I would have heels up. I would have new horsemen up the whole time until Jericho comes back to rally the troops once again, and then we have the big fucking 10-man or whatever it's going to be gimmick match that, hopefully there's no pyro involved, but something brutal along those lines on the get back. So it set up good stakes here at the end. I can't say it didn't, but we'll see what the follow through is on it. There's just a lot of things shotgun, and I worry about after the Bucks match and you try to kill my dad. Now let's wrestle. Like, let's be smart in the stakes of what we're trying to build here,
That's a victim of just letting an angle play out too quick. It's like how we were taught, don't cram 20 minutes into a 7-minute match, have a 7-minute match. That was the equivalent of that angle. That's why it didn't sit right with you. That should have been a 4-month build, but they condensed it for a one-off match. That's why it came across. I will say this. I think this was a very smart booking decision for the talent that is MJF. Him doing the stuff with Jericho and Inner Circle, I think it was some entertaining stuff, and I liked a lot of it, but I think we took a little bit of MJF stock away because he kind of just became another player in the group, and MJF was the only guy that had legit heat. And now with this and him heading a group, I think he gets all of that heat back, and he's right back on top in position to be a legitimate top heel. So I think that was very smart because MJF is their future, and you got to use him well.
I think so too. They were kind of making him, obviously, with the dinner and dancing stuff, and that cooled off a lot of his heat. I mean, entertainment for a song and dance guy like me. But I think about back when they had the cage match with, that was when he was a real heater.
And 10 lashes on Cody. That was ripping shit.
Yeah, that was crazy good stuff, dude. I guess you didn't send it to me in there. Somebody had sent it to me. I can't remember who had sent it. Let me just double check on. Was it in Light the Fuse chat or no?
I don't know.
I was just gonna play the clip of you wrestling Rick Victor, man. That was pretty fucking cool to see you and APOC getting down over at Side Dojo over there. He's looking strong, like brick shithouse strong right now, man, for sure. But yeah, I mean, you had the ups on him for a minute, but that's what happens when you work a super heavyweight there.
We just danced a little bit. Frig dancing.
Yeah, it definitely was like the old days of chain, grab an arm, work the arm, switch out, get some heat. But I love all that stuff. So anytime it happens, please definitely send it to me. And keeps me hungry to get back in the ring too, man. So hopefully more shows be able to be booked maybe this spring. We'll see. A lot of people are anxious. I know the 2CW show in June is still scheduled, so we'll see if that goes off, man. But hopefully AEW can take a dose of humility this week and learn from it going forward. I think they learned a lot of lessons. The only way to learn them, the hard way this week. And hopefully that doesn't sting too much, as much as it's as a performer of brothers and a band of brothers in wrestling. I know what that's like when something you put your heart into goes awry and there's nothing you can do about it. So I definitely feel for those guys as performers, but let's just learn, like, hey, let's not do, hey everybody watch me, because what could only go wrong there, you know what I mean? That's the asshole jumping off the boat at Lake Havasu, smashing his fucking face off of the railing before he does his sweet dive or whatever. Like, it's always that feeling, it's always that fail army, and I think this week's Botchamania will definitely drive home the tax on that. There's no doubt about it. Still,
you got a good shirt out of the deal, though. That t-shirt was pretty fucking sweet.
Which one?
The exploding barbed wire. They made an old school looking grunge rock t-shirt. Yeah, I liked it.
I saw that.
Sorry, go ahead, buddy.
No, I was going to throw it to you, man. Where can they find Silvio seminars and be more interested in learning more from the great Chris Silvio himself?
Well, right now you can't find me. I'm a bit of a mystery. I'm all filled up. I have to limit my my workload for physical and mental health issues. So I'm all full up as far as students that don't live here. I'll give you guys an update when I do have the availability to fit some new guys in. So right now, if you want to learn this fucking art, this beautiful art of pro wrestling, you got to bring your ass to Tampa. I've got, I believe at any given week, I can get in up to either 2 or 3 people per class. So if you want to learn this shit the right way, come on down to Tampa. We got a good crew here that all have potential to be future superstars, and you could be part of that crew. So come on down to Tampa. Hit me up if you do. And shout out to Jenna. Good luck in her match this weekend. You can follow her on all the social medias at Genocide 000 and check her out this week on Title Match. As for me, you won't find me hanging around the social media parlors, but you can hear me each and every week here. I give Hamin Media Group the exclusive every single week. This is the only place in the world that people can find me. It's the only place I'm going to be every week. So you want to keep up? Keep listening to the show and tell your friends because it's a damn good show. We made Russo fuck off till Tuesdays. Vince Russo.
We're that strong. He painted a new Tony Khan painting that you can bid on eBay right now as well. If you're interested, it's original Vince Russo art. If you want Vince Russo Bro coffee, you get 33% more right now for the month of March for free with all online orders of Vince Russo Bro coffee at the Coffee Broasters. Bro, yeah, man, they were so pumped that you guys have been buying it through Hamin Media Group's promotion and Russo Brands promotion that they want to do a little incentivized that way, you guys. So you're going to get more of the best, same price. And just to say thank you for being such great customers, absolutely. ZordosOliveOil.com as well for our ultra premium Greek olive oil, and you can go to ProWrestlingTees.com/TheChrisSilvio/Ben Hamin and get our official shirts, you guys. That's a great way to support us directly. And as well as Hamin Media Group's Patreon, patreon.com/Hamin Media Group, where Man Beast is out there right now recording the next episode of the FR podcast at Von Lilas Studios. So I'm hoping Lilas doesn't run in today. I always love having him on the show as well. Tonight, if you're listening to this live, 8 p.m., 7 Central at SRTV, Stevie Ray TV from Harlem Heat. He's got ODB versus Deonna Purrazzo in a face-to-face showdown, throwdown, verbal smackdown before the Sacrifice pay-per-view this weekend. So so much going on with HMG, plugged into everything, man. Just really, really pumped to be able to help produce. And if you also want to go to Big Vito brand and subscribe, the Big Vito brand on Patreon, or the A Show, which is Damian Sandow and April Hunter's Patreon that we're helping to collaborate with, you will be signed up to win a ECW Legends autograph. It's got 20 autographs on an ECW 8x10 on the Big Vito brand. Or for Light the Fuse, we have the Young Bucks comic book autographed by Nick and Matt Jackson. If you sign up for the A Show, somebody's going to win over there as well. Sign up for both. You might win both on the random drawing. We have that opportunity. So also, thanks again to the lovely Jenna Van Muscles as we support, or Genocide, if you will, as we support Women's History Month here at HMG. Great features on Goldilocks, on the beautiful people so far, and on April Hunter. We're working with Amber Neal as well. So shout out to everybody, all the strong women that we're collaborating with all month long. So
you know what else is this month? I learned about this recently. The month of March is now brain injury awareness as well. So if you want to do a little reading up on that to our listeners to kind of better understand your fellow human beings. That's something, unfortunately, that comes with the territory of pro wrestling, which you all seem to love because you tune in with us every week. Unfortunately, some guys get a worse end of the stick than others. So yeah, show your support for for anybody in the community that's having some issues, and just educate yourselves a little bit more on it, and just remember, keep people in your hearts and your thoughts.
Wasn't February Brain Awareness Month too?
No, I think it was March. Maybe I don't know.
No, you said that last month and you forgot. Now you're saying it again because you got
it. Hey, 2 months in a row, baby.
And then next month will be too. He just forgets about it. That's what part of it is. Every month is Brain Injury Awareness Month. But you know what? We're a little smarter today, sitting under the learning tree of my man Chris Silvio, my tag team partner. It's totally insurgency here on Light the Fuse, infidels. We got to get this pyro right. We got to get this sound right so we can get an A on our next report card, infidels. It's Hacker Hamin. It's the Chris Silvio, MSG, will sicka see you later, brother. Yalla, 3, 2, get down, cover me,